Probably young guys.
we're professionals. We kind of have an idea. But before we do anything, hey fans, welcome to the Vaguely News, Vaguely True with Rob Vega. And now we're going to run the credits so you can enjoy them for the next 30 minutes. Woo-hoo.
This is True OF Entertainment.
Well, here we go. It's the man that promises you nothing and delivers. It's the veritable man motor mouth. It's Road Woods who feels the need to call himself Rob Vega. It somehow makes him feel important. Anyway, do have a listen and try not to throw up.
Wow, the fact that you did that intro for yourself is really, it says a lot.
That's quite a claim though on credits. The country's top radio. Okay, that's just utter bullshit. But anyway,
you say that every time we play it, but here's the best part: because I've put this on the internet, it's now true.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works.
Is it true?
I learned that from the Orange. Anything you put on the internet is true.
So, okay. So listen, I want to get things going. On my show, and I have to be wary because obviously I've lived where you are, and I've lived here, and I've lived in the UK. So I enjoy all three's news stuff. I watch American news, British news, South African news. I watch all of them, and I get all three. But I've got to be careful because when I'm doing a radio show here, and I talk about, for instance, if I spoke about a Swiffer in South Africa, they would go, "What's a Swiffer?"
Right.
Be careful of stuff like that. There's certain things that I know from my time in the US that are really cool and I enjoy it, but I have to realize people here don't know what that is.
Right.
And they're not all as concerned or not concerned or happy or not so happy with Trump as Americans are. Because, it's there and So, but that being said, I got to say, when the Don got in, when the Orange Man got in and spoke about the Golden Age, and I just went on air and I said, no, it's not it's the Orange Age, it's not the Golden Age. Right. It's fantastic. I genuinely, politics aside, I was thrilled to bits because the comedic material, once he'd been in office 10 days or whatever it is, or 2 weeks or whenever this plays out, has been marvelous.
I know.
Marvelous. He is just the gift. He is the gift. He's Look, I'm genuinely serious. He is a wonderful news source. He's fantastic. Yes. And I have to actually be careful on the show that I do that I don't create too much content that is skewed towards him because literally there's something I can do with him every day. So I wanted to kick off with a few, if you don't mind. I've got a few here. I know you got some, but I wanted to kick off with you. This is the kind of thing we do. So these are bits from the show. So when he got, which one should we start with?
I have the one that you sent me. Do you want me to play the phone call?
I want to do that one last because that's the most recent one. But leading up to it, is it okay? I can pop this on the mic, and is that
you can pop whatever you like? My
South African friend. So I don't know. Let's just see what happens. There are a few calls that I made with him leading up to his inauguration / coronation, and then we'll play the one that I sent you last. How's that? Because that's got to do with the whole renaming thing. So let me kick off this one. Let me see which one. I don't know which one's going to come out. It's one of them.
That's fine.
It'll be a surprise.
I go on a lot of
as much a surprise for you as it will be for me. So here we go.
Same as the dates I go on.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to check in with you, sir. You excited about the new gig? Well, it's an old gig, really.
Yes, and my inauguration is going to be the biggest ever. We're going to have millions of people. Only Americans, though. No immigrants, except for Elongated Rusk. The music will be the best no one has ever heard before, and the spaced out X guys are going to be doing a rocket flyover.
Rocket flyover? Impossible. Can you do that?
I believe it is. Mr. Rusk told me he's going to get one of his self-flying gizmos to take care of the flight path.
Fantastic. Wish I could be there. But I'm going to be busy trying not to be there.
Well, if things change, Elongated said you could sit next to him. You're South African too, right?
Yeah, I suppose I am.
And my FBI people tell me you have an American work visa?
I do.
Well, then you're all set. You got to come.
But I'm
I don't want to hear it. You got to be here. We need all the African Americans we can get.
Ah, ah, ah. So it'll be
Yeah, yeah,
it'll be you and Musk are the only two African Americans. Congratulations.
exactly,
There
exactly.
you have it.
I mean,
I like it.
he's more of a Martian, to be fair, but it's fine. It's
Yeah.
okay. Oh, he's another one. Not only am I thrilled that the Don is there, he's got Elon next to him, elongated Rusk next to him. So
Yes.
anybody wants to know, call him elongated Rusk. Well, he's quite a tall fellow. Elon's quite a tall fellow.
Yeah.
So he's elongated.
Yeah,
Elon,
sure.
elongated, right? And Musk means nothing, but Rusk is the national foods of South Africa. The Rusk. It's like a biscotti or whatever. It's like that. It's a dry thing you drink in coffee, and you don't be like one of these twats that go on TikTok or whatever and say, "Hey man, I went to South Africa and I ate a Rusk. It's so dry." No, you moron. You stick it in your coffee.
That's right. We had that. Yeah, we did.
Exactly. You know this. I know that.
Yeah.
I would say most Americans.
We just lost you. Just say if you can hear me, you hit the mute button on your screen. So now we've lost you. You got so excited.
We're
And
back.
you muted
We're
yourself.
back.
You're back.
I got so excited. So it's always the idiots, right? That embarrass the hell out of one's country. So
All right.
the smart people, the smart Americans, the smart English folk, the smart South Africans, they won't do all that social media stuff. It's just the idiots that go out there and go, "Oh, look at those Americans, look at those South Africans, look at those English people." No. Those are just the morons. These are the morons. They're not representative of the country at all. And I say that because when I lived there, and I'll say this in all seriousness, comedy aside, which is quite difficult to do in these times, is the people. I went to a couple of small things. I went to barbecues, which we call braais, and had some, what do you call them, tailgating things, and did all that. And I thought to myself, there's really very little difference between the two countries in terms of those things: sport, food, outdoor, whatever. It's just the accent that's slightly different, but the thinking, the attitude, the motivations, the desires, the needs, the concerns for the future, pretty much the same. Honestly, pretty much the same. I actually had a bloke who came here. He's a friend of a mate of mine in the US. He came here. They've got some business deal, and they've been awarded the South African franchise. That's for another show. But he said, could I, when his friend comes, could I give him a tour? And I said, sure, no problem. Guy came here, and he was so disappointed. I said, why? What's wrong? He says, I thought it would be more African. I said, what do you mean? I said, what? He says, I don't know. He says, I thought I'd get here and I thought it would be a bit more. So I said, what?
Zulu tribe-ish.
Primitive? Yeah, he was thinking it would be like, I don't know, naked breasted like the Zulus have. And I don't know, maybe that's what he was hoping for. I'm not sure. But he was disappointed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a Zulu.
I'm upset.
Stephen.
Yes.
So I don't want to speak for Zulu culture because not Zulu, but I partially grew up down there in KZN, KwaZulu-Natal, which is one of the provinces, and I had a lot of friends who were were isiZulu, spoke isiZulu, and they were Zulu people, and they were of that culture. And they would pains to tell me that they would have these ceremonies, these whatever, and the women would be, the maidens. They
would be
have a different view of, like the Germans. They like the Germans. They like the Germans.
Right. Okay.
And anyway, I don't want to, but it's not as big a deal for them as it is for a lot of Western folk. Just maybe that's what he was. Maybe that's what he was hoping for. I don't know.
Because you know why? When we were kids growing up, we would get National Geographic in the 60s and 70s, and on every cover was a Zulu lady with no shirt, and you'd be like, oh. And so, of course, when he went to South Africa, that was what he's expecting. Now, I've been to South Africa, and it's only the men that don't wear shirts, which I wish they would, but the women all wear shirts. So it is one of those things. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah. What are you going to do? But he
Right.
was. I took him for a bit of a tour around some of the. I don't know why I did this. I took him to some of the shopping centers, and some of them have got a lake next to them. And he sat there, and he was sitting there with his coffee, and he's like, "Hey, man, this is really disappointing." I said, "Why? I mean, Great Lake coffee's good." And he says, "Yeah, the coffee's good. The view is great. There's Wi-Fi. There's." He says, I could be in Charlotte, North Carolina, whatever. What is this? I came here for an African experience. I think he was relieved it wasn't quite as archaic and as primitive as he had thought. But I think he was hoping for a bit of roughness, maybe. I don't know.
He was hoping for the Zulu tribe to basically skin him alive, and a naked-breasted women to come over and torture him, I think, and that's what he was hoping for. And we all know that only happens in Kenya. So he's in the wrong country. So
I will say,
maybe.
I've said this to many people. The problem, and you're going to play that little clip now. The problem with South Africa is actually the name. Confused because yes, it does have Africa in the name, but it isn't really what I would call the most stereotypically representative of Africa. I mean, if you get out the city and go into some of the rural areas, you can get some rough stuff. But that's kind of true of most countries. I mean,
it's true here. If you can go 5 blocks the wrong direction, you can get mugged in New York. It's like it's the same shit. Come on. So, so we want to play. This is the latest phone call. This is so everybody knows Rob Vega's latest interview with Donald Trump. So we're very excited to have this.
So there's just a bit of context. There's a little bit of a bit before back announce a song and all that. Don't worry about that. But that plays out. But the context is it's got to do with the whole renaming thing. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, we're renaming the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. Here we go, kids.
That's got a nice ring to it. I think I'm.
Is that it? That's it.
Steve?
Yeah, that was it. That was great.
I couldn't. Did that go out? Because I couldn't hear it.
Oh, I heard it in my thing. If not, then people just got to look at my face. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. It went out. I heard it perfectly. I guess it went out.
All right, because I couldn't hear it at all. I couldn't hear that at all. Do you mind if I just not at all? Do you mind if I just play it? Because
I don't know. I couldn't hear it. Just in case. That's okay. Let's replay it. It was fun.
Okay, here we go. Right. I don't know. I couldn't hear it. Maybe it was just. Maybe it's because I'm in Africa.
Oh my God.
But for whatever reason, I just heard you with the phone going, and I couldn't hear it. All right, here it is. So here it is.
All right, let's do it again.
Hot 1027, Peter's best old school R&B. That's Alison Moyer with Invisible. Well, I'll tell you someone who is invisible, and that's the new president of the U.S., the returning president, His Lordship Donald Trump. And we've got him on the phone because apparently he wants to change some names or us, our country. Good morning, Your Lordship.
Oh, I like that. That's got a nice ring to it.
I like it.
Yeah, I do. I think I'm going to rename myself Lord Trump.
Yeah, because, president is just so large here, isn't it?
Right. Lord Trump.
So, Lord Trump.
Yes?
I believe you want to announce a name change in our part of the world.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, so who's being renamed?
Well, you guys are.
Us, Hot 1027.
No, your country, South Africa.
Oh, right. Okay. So what's our new name?
Well, I considered your history where you are, the Rainbow Nation thing and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm with the United States of South Africa.
But your lordship, we don't have states. We have provinces.
Yeah, that's going to change too.
All right. So the United States of South Africa. At least we're still South Africa.
Yes, you say.
Yeah. I like that's exactly what I heard. And hopefully now you've heard it twice, everybody. So it's real because it's on the internet. And Rob Vega interviewed Donald Trump. There you go. We always invite Donnie on our different shows. Now maybe because he's done the phone interview, he'll come on and he could talk about this. One day we're going to be shocked. Him or somebody's really going to come on. We're going to be like, oh God, now we're going to ask real questions.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. As I say, I'm looking at this. The problem is it's serious for some people, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't take it seriously. I mean, you drive yourself crazy. There's no point. I mean, the interesting thing is a lot of my mates in Connecticut are. I mean, they're big. They support him. They voted for him. And so what's nice about that for me is that I get different perspectives. So I don't get, with respect, I work in media, and media can be very, what's the word? Interpretive. You know what I mean? It puts its own angle. There's always a spin. I mean, news is tailored for a market. So you have to bear that in mind. It's very difficult to actually get to what is and what isn't. We've spoken about this. But so that being said, what's nice is I get a different perspective from them. Day-to-day, non-hyped version as to what their motivations were. And the thing we've said before on the show, I'll say again, it's worth repeating, is they're not disciples of the man. There were a couple of things that they were happy with. They didn't necessarily dislike Kamala Harris. But Trump was better for them. It was as simple and as straightforward and as unemotionally involved as that. And I think I've often thought to myself, that's true of most places. You can't label a whole group of people in any way. People have their motivations. It's called democracy. You don't have to like it. If you don't like it, then do something about it. But making it a personal thing and doing that clickbait thing, destroy, ruin, is I don't know, helpful. And I've obviously got mates there who are blue, mates there who are red, and I said to the blue guys, if you don't like it, get busy. Create your own candidate. Don't worry about the other party. Don't worry about them. And the reverse is true. You got to stop worrying about the other guy. Just do. If you think you've got a better idea, if you think you got a better marketing plan, a better message, great. Make people want to listen to you. Give them something that will inspire them to move to your shop. That's it. But don't knock the other shop, because anyone can do that. So that's all I would say about it. I don't know the man personally. He says some weird things. They're all politicians, but I gotta say, I am thrilled as shit that he's there, because look at the material that I get to write. It's fantastic. I mean, rename
just real stuff he does. Are you kidding? He wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. The stupid stuff he does. It's awesome. I'm loving it.
It's great. I mean, it's only been the Gulf of Mexico for 500 years, but why let that stand in the way of anything? I mean, come on. Come on. You know what? Can I just say this? As a New Yorker, you appreciate this. I want to know if we're going to be historically accurate. Okay, so Mount McKinley. Well, that's an interesting one. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't mean to be dismissive. I don't care. Call it Mount Douglas for all I care. It doesn't matter. But Douglas MacArthur. There you go. Perfect. But if you're going to be historically accurate and go with the original and be true, well, then New York should really be New Amsterdam.
That's true.
I mean,
it should be New Amsterdam,
why not? It should be New. That's what it was first, or whatever the Native American name for it was before, whatever it was before that. I mean, but it's just a name. It's just a name. I will say, I think York's got a better rhythm than New Amsterdam, but
And New Amsterdam takes too long. New York is because you can't have a song like New York, New York. Can you imagine just song New York, New York, New Amsterdam, New Amsterdam? Frankie wouldn't have been Frankie. It's got to be New York, New York. Yeah.
I mean, hangs in New Amsterdam. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And New York is it's snappier. It's New York. It's quick. You know, New Amsterdam has got all those unnecessary syllables. And we both know people don't have time in New York. I mean, you're going to be explaining things. The guy goes, "Get to the damn already."
Yeah, whatchamacallit. In New York, it's just like we got stuff to do, and we got to do it yesterday, and that's it.
But there's still some Dutch stuff hanging around. I mean, Staten Island, that's as Dutch as it gets, and there's a few other. You'd probably know more than me.
Wait, stop.
Some of the stops.
Staten Island is not part of New York. Let's just get that clear. Staten Island, we would give it to Jersey. Well, technically it is, but people people say they're from Staten Island, and we're like, nobody cares. It's like, that's nice. Like, go to Jersey, you can go to Pennsylvania. Nobody cares. It's nice. You're from Staten Island. Nobody cares. So
I got a guy here. Yeah. You live on the north shore of No, you're not part of New York. Yeah, we've just heard because Steve has just put that on the internet. You're not New Jersey. Yeah, you're kind of Delaware. I think that's a bit far south, mate. No, that's a bit of a stretch.
Delaware works too.
You're New Jersey. You are East New Jersey. That's fine. Okay. All right, buddy. Take it easy. Scully's not going to land near you soon. Bye.
Yeah, there you go. But it's true. People, when they say they're from Staten Island, people are like, yeah, good for you. Like, but we're New Yorkers. I'm like, no, you're from Staten Island. You're not even.
Wasn't that consummate New York character of Frank Ryan from Blue Bloods? Didn't they on Staten Island?
Yes, but he's from Staten Island once again.
The New York Police Commissioner lives in New Jersey, does he?
Yeah. Well, that's the current mayor of New York. He lived in New Jersey. He lived in Jersey and then became the mayor of New York, and he had to move to New York. And now they just dropped the federal charges against him because Donnie called the federal prosecutor and says, "That's my boy." And now Eric Douglas, or whatever his name is, Davis, is in New York. The mayor is okay. Now he's not going to get charged with all the little things he did, corruption and things like that. But don't worry about that. So it's great. The new dictatorship we're under is phenomenal. Having a blast with it. Now we're gonna, we're having internment camps like we did for the Japanese and so forth. During World War II, we're gonna have those for the illegal immigrants, shipping them, shooting them. I love it. This is a great. Oh my God, this is better than 1929 Hitler's Germany. This is great.
So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when all those immigrants start eating the dogs?
Well, they've already.
There's a lot of dogs in New York, right?
There's
a lot of dogs in New York.
No, they've already. You go to Chinatown. There's no dogs. No cats, no dogs in Chinatown, K-Town. They're all gone. They ate them all. So there's nothing. So, yeah. What's going to happen when all the immigrants finally leave, though, is I don't know how houses are going to get built, roads are going to get done, or anything else is going to happen.
Steve? How are we going to rebuild LA?
Oh, that's not getting rebuilt anytime soon. That's not happening. I mean, you're going to have to hire people that actually know how to build homes, like they had like real bricklayers that know how to build a house, not out of wood. Who builds a house? Here's my question. If you're in a fire zone, let's think about it. Let's build the house out of wood because wood is fire retardant or retarded. Why don't you build a house out of brick or cement? So if a fire comes, the brick and cement goes, screw you. I mean, come on.
Look, Steve, I'm a student of America. I enjoy the concept of America. I've got a lot of friends there. I enjoy the place. It is literally 50 countries, I tell people. And I mean, jokes aside, amazing things have been done by amazing people. That's not politics. That's not bias. That's just a fact that is. Right. And it is the world's biggest economy, blah, 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 all of that shit. And you don't have to make the place great again. It already is great. It's the only superpower. It's got the biggest military, blah, blah, yeah. Okay. But there are a few things I find really strange. And you just brought up one of them. I remember driving through, the first time I went through Texas, right? Houston. What happens in Houston a lot? Winds, twisters, tornadoes.
Yeah.
And everybody builds their house out of well, timber. And I just went, what, you guys got a problem? I mean, New York, they build it out of brick. Why don't you guys try that? You know what one guy said to me? You can't make this shit up. He said to me, the reason, I don't know if this is true, the reason why we build our houses out of wood and not brick is, well, every now and again, you have a big storm, quite often, in fact. Destroys neighborhoods, terrible. And then we all get to rebuild. It promotes the building industry, helps us to reinvent, and keeps us new. And when, well, that is a really shit reason to build out of wood. But okay, if that helps you sleep at night. And I think he, on some level,
it's true.
It promoted things. You got to reinvent every, I don't know, twister season, tomato season. Oh, here we go, new house. Because my house is over there now, in pieces.
But I remember as a kid growing up, our house, when we had our house built, I watched the bricklayer build the house. It was phenomenal. Today, I told this story, I forgot on which show, but a couple weeks ago, when I lived in Sedona, Arizona, right? Very posh, rich town. I was renting a house next to Thunder Mountain, and I was like, this is cool. And I watched them build this house. Within a week, the house was up. On Monday, they poured the concrete for the foundation. On Tuesday, the guys were hammering up, all the wood. And Wednesday, they were putting up, the plywood. And I'm like, this house is going to sell for $3 million. And it literally, I could go over there and blow on it, it would fall down. And I'm like, what a piece of crap. So they build shit homes here in America, unless you're going to spend real money. I know one of the Getty Museum in LA is all brick and cement, and the roof is cement, because they said when the fire got close, they had no concerns because of the sprinklers that they installed everything for. But then watching all these people trying to save their wooden home, I'm like, have you never heard of the Three Little Pigs? You huff and you puff and you don't get a blowjob.
Right.
There's a reason. I mean, whoa, what happened? Anyway, my point is that you build it out of wood and there's a fire. This is what's going to happen. It's not rocket science. But then again, if you don't go to school, or you don't pay attention, and you don't know these things, that's what happens. So it's ridiculous.
It's okay. There's another thing. So there's this obsession with timber framework. Look, my dad, unfortunately, because of circumstances, he wanted to visit the States, and he never did. He visited all over Europe. He never got to go to the States, which is quite sad.
Right.
And I remember this very clearly when I was a kid. He was going to Kalamazoo just because of the name, Michigan. That's where he wanted to go. He just loved the name. He thought, I want to go to a place called Kalamazoo. I mean, how bad can Kalamazoo be? But he never got to go. But he was a fan, strangely enough, of the whole timber frame, the wooden thing. And he explained to me, the joins and how you can modify things. And there's certain advantages to it. But still, I mean, like you, I break. If you're going to build a house, how long do you want it to be there for? Just asking. But the other thing is the other weird one for me, which I found really odd, is for a country that is super advanced. I mean, it is super advanced. Got all the tech in the world, blah, blah, blah. It's all there. What's the shit with checks? I always thought, what is this check thing? And I remember when I first moved there, my mom was still around, and I messaged her and I said, I spoke to her about the checks. She worked in the banks, and she said, "What do you mean checks?" And I said, "Well, they use you can literally go and pay for stuff like your waste disposal thing and your school and whatever with checks." And she said, "A check? What do you we?" She says, "I haven't written a check in 20 years." What is
that point? Yeah. When you said checks, I thought you meant like Polish people and the Czechs and the Germans. Okay. I wasn't sure where we were going to go.
But here's the weird thing. I remember the first time I just moved there, and I was catching the train from a little station in Ridgefield, just outside this station called West Reading, and then I'd catch the train down to South Norwalk, and then switch over and catch the east of the line down into Grand Central. But that station, West Reading, I remember it very well. I thought, how do I pay? And I got to the tiny little parking lot, and the station, it's tiny. It's got about you can probably park about 40 cars. It's actually very sweet and very nice, and I enjoyed the whole village. It was lovely. But I got there, and there was no pay station. And I went, how And then I saw a guy wandering around in sort of these luminous uniforms, and I said to him, "What do I do? How do I?" He says, "Oh, no. He says, you just put a check in your windshield." I said, "What?" "Yeah, you just put a check in your windshield, and oh, by the way," and he says, "There you are." And my bad. There was actually some instructions as you got onto the platform, which told you what to do. You wrote the check to the, I don't know, the regional traffic department or something. And I said to him, "But it's $5. Yeah, that's fine." I mean, okay. And I wrote a check for $5 and stuck it in my windshield, and Bob was auntie. And I just thought, well, what happens if it's, I said, what happens if it snows? He said, "Oh no, then we'll just you just add them up." And I said, "How do you know how many times I've been here?" "Well, sir, you should do the right thing." I went, wow, what is this, Disneyland? Seriously, the honor system. No, it was extraordinary.
You know why? Because that's just a bunch of white people. That's a bunch of white people. That's what they do. They're very honest. You could tell.
Oh, are they? What are you saying, Steve? What are you saying?
All the white people are honest. Yeah. Look at
really?
the honest
people. Like the ones in the White House.
Trump, you got Trump, you got Zuckerberg, you got Elon Musk, you got Jeff Bezos, all white guys that are honest. Bill Gates, all of them. Yeah, that's why. So all the white people, they're all so honest. And that's why we came and we took the land, because we're honest, because it was ours first, apparently. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
And the money. And all the money.
We take everything. Because I know you have to go soon, but on the next show, we should really talk about how Trump just made another $1 billion or $10 billion with his new financial crypto network, blah, 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 blah. We should talk about DeepSeek. There's so much to talk about, but we know we have limited time with you today because, like I said, he's the number one disc jockey in South Africa, everybody. He is a legend. He spends time with us here in America. We should be honored. You ask him how great he is. He'll tell you. Go ahead.
Actually, the other one, we'll remember that, but for next time, the other thing I want to talk about is how his wife has made what? How many millions?
$40 million she got $40 million from Amazon to do a documentary about her life. The comment in the Financial Times when I read that, the guy said at the very end, he goes, "I bet it gets no views." But that was great. It's like, who cares where you came from? Nobody cares. So I just thought that was awesome.
I would say to them, guys, did you not see what happened with Prince Harry and Meghan?
Yeah.
Have you not learned your lesson?
Yeah, right. That's true.
And they've probably got more or the same bullshit. I mean, I don't know her from, I don't know her. I don't know. Yeah. I still find it odd, though. I got to say this. I still find it quite the word. I'm not going to use the word irony because that gets bandied about too often, and people don't actually know what it means. Right. I will say to children, it's basically got to do with an unexpected result. But I'm not going to go down the irony thing. But I do find it interesting is that you've got a guy who is touted as this. I don't know. He's been labeled as a Nazi and God knows what. I don't know that he is. I'm just saying the Democrats have called him all sorts of things.
Sure.
I want to say to the people who say that about him, he's married to an immigrant. So there. How many immigrants are you married to?
Legally? 7 or 8. Illegally?
Wow. He's an inclusive guy. Come on, Steve. He's an inclusive guy.
Listen, he's from New York, so just because of that, I like a percentage of him because he's a New Yorker. The other stuff he says and does right now is signing these orders like a drunk sailor in a whorehouse. You go, Donnie. Some of them are good. Some of them are you kidding me? Some of them I think he's just signing because it's like, what the hell, we'll sign them. I think it'll be interesting in 2 years to see where we are as a country economically and see if everything he touted really works, whether it's the immigration,
I'm going to say
this or that. Yeah,
I'm going to say this because we're going to keep a record of this because apparently. You know how people give up. You get two kinds of people that anti-smokers. You get the people who smoked and then gave up, and you get people who've never smoked, like me.
Right.
The biggest anti-smoking people are the ones who've given up. They're the ones that are the worst.
Right.
Now, what I'm saying is, I want to see what happens. I'm going to say this. There was a reason I brought that up. Sorry, I've got too many things going in my head. The naysayers, the people that don't have faith in the country. I would regard myself if I was living there, obviously, as an immigrant. And I've often thought that some of the best people, with all due respect, the people that are actually sometimes, I'm not disparaging anybody else, but somebody who's gone there, made the effort, built a business, done whatever. Right. I'm not talking about Elongated, Rusk. Other immigrants that have done well and have had tremendous impact on the country and appreciate what America is about. Some of the most patriotic people. The guy that runs Camping World, he's got those big giant flags, flags.
Yeah.
The Camping World places. I mean, he was born in Lebanon, so he's an immigrant, and he's one of the most patriotic people. What is my point? What I'm saying is, you will find people. I would put myself in that group, and people like him and those people have a lot more faith in what the country is about than a lot of these people who say, "Well, Trump's going to come and he's going to destroy it." Right. I am going to go on record as saying America will be fine. There will be some weird little that might come in. Some people might actually have to do something slightly differently, whatever. But ultimately, I think the country, the laws, the system, I mean, a lot of what he's done has already been appealed and some of it's been rescinded. So freaking what? Yeah, as you say, what are you doing, Stephen? You've got some effects going through you there.
Fireworks. I'm celebrating America.
Is that what you're doing? All right. I'm saying that everybody should just chill the fuck out. It's going to be fine. You're going to have the Donnie Show for a couple of years. So what? If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, go and do something about it. But freaking enjoy it. Just enjoy it. See the comedy. It's still, this isn't a political thing. It is still the #1 country. It is. It fucking in many ways. It's a big economy. There's some stupid people, some smart people, whatever. It's the world. So don't panic about it, for the love of God. I see these ridiculous comments. If you don't like it, then gear up and go and do something. But for fuck's sakes, stop moaning about the guy. Really, just enjoy the comedy. He's funny. He's hysterical.
Yeah, that's what we do. We're gonna take over Greenland. We're taking over the Panama Canal. We're renaming the Gulf. Apparently now we're doing something in South Africa. We're the Rainbow State. How exciting!
And we are, and we're the United States of South Africa, which I'm actually quite happy about. That's great.
I like it. And apparently Canada's next, and so is everybody else. So, I mean, if you look at it this way, I like it. So we're going to be a big country. I don't have to use a passport now when I travel. I'm very excited about this.
The Canadian thing is funny for me because I love Google Maps and Google Earth, and I go and explore the country from the comfort of my computer. I told you, I'm not a porn man. I'm a map man. The true story. I know that's sad. I know that's pathetic, but I'm just admitting it. Yeah, it's part of my therapy. So I go and venture around the world, and I get into the street view, and I look at the neighborhoods. I know it's a bit creepy, but I've explored the border between America and Canada. And you know what it's like? It's like this. This is the border between Canada and America in many places.
Yeah, you step over an imaginary line. Yeah,
that's it. We're going to stop all the stuff coming across the border. What border? There's no border. It's a little
wall. I know, right?
Get over yourself. Get over yourselves. There's no border. No border. Just get real. And that wall, in the South. I mean, I know the smart Americans know this, but for the ones that don't know this, it doesn't go all the way. There's big gaps in it. Really, really big gaps. And if I was a nasty guy that wanted to come and do something in America, well, I wouldn't go to the part where there's a wall. And there's plenty where there isn't. I don't want to alarm you. Feel free to send a drone along the border, but I'm just bringing it to light. The wall is not complete. There's big holes in it.
And you know and here's what the real problem is. If we get rid of the Chinese that are here illegally, they're the only ones that know how to build a wall. So we're screwed.
The Mexicans build LA.
Listen, if you go back into Europe, you have all those castles that were built 400, 500, 600 years ago, 1,000 years ago, all made out of brick. They're still standing. Those are by immigrants. We're kicking out all the people that know how to use brick. We're going to have what kind of wall we're going to have? We have a wall made out of wood. Great. The next fire, the wall goes away. There you go.
Stephen, no, but hang on a second, just to be fair. Yeah. Tornadoes and twisters only happen in the U.S. That's why
that's not true. They actually happen in the United Kingdom as well.
Yeah, but they don't call them. What do they call them? Cyclones. I mean, they change them. Isn't that weird? So they what are they? They're tornadoes. They're hurricanes. They're cyclones.
Yeah.
Can we just come up with one name? Tsunamis. Hot air, blowing smoke.
Since Trump wants to rename everything, we can call it the Trump. So there you go. What's in the Atlantic Ocean this week? We have the Trump coming. It's going to come and very devastating. It'll be great. I love it. We call it the Trump or the hairpiece or the orange storm. I'm just trying to help out. Anyway, gotta love them. Hey, I know you have to go, but thank you.
I want to say one thing. I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
And that's this. I have to say, I really enjoyed when he was delivering his inauguration speech.
Right.
And he was just ripping the shit out of Biden. He was sitting right there.
Sitting right there. That was awesome.
It's fabulous. And he had the mayor of LA, and it's like he can sit next to someone, insult the shit out of them. This guy is crap. He's useless. He's terrible, whatever.
Right.
And then he'll finish his speech and shake the guy's hand, have a beer with him. It's fantastic. It's a very English thing, by the way, to be able to do that.
Well, it's also a very New York thing. It's a New York thing where I can yell or scream at you. You yell scream at me. And when we're all done, we're going to go to lunch. And it's all forgotten. So got to remember, Donnie's a New Yorker. So in Donnie's mind, I may be telling you you're a piece of crap, but in my mind, when we're done, we're going to go have lunch. It's not a big deal. So that's a very New York thing. So when he does it, I just chuckle. I'm like, yeah, Donnie, these people aren't from New York. I don't think they get you. But I think I do stuff like that. And I'm like, we're going to lunch. And people that get it are like, of course. People that don't get it are like, I never want to talk to you again. And I'm like, that's good. So,
but Stephen. It's a New York thing, but it's also an English thing. And if you think that New York at one point was like the heart of New England.
Yeah. And if you think about it, there was once called New Amsterdam because the Dutch were here going, hi, I'm the Dutch. So, and there you go. And then we stole the land from the people that actually lived here. But apparently we're not going to give that back if we're going to go back to, renaming things. It's not like we're going to go to the Native Americans going, hey, listen, we stole your country from you. Since we're going back to the old ways, would you like it back? I don't see us doing that. We gave them casinos. Apparently that's good enough. So now they have the Hard Rock. So what can I tell you? Welcome to America. We're a great country.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. By the way, Steve, there you go.
The puppy. There you go. Gotta love the puppy. There's the pooch.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring her into the show.
No worries. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending 35 or 40 minutes with us. We'll be back next Thursday with the one and only Rob Vega. God knows what we'll talk about. Probably Donald Trump will have called him and want to come on the show, and we will do that. Gotta love the Donnie. There you go. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll see everybody next week. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to this Old Woods Rob Vega, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, fellow. This podcast thing, it makes him feel very important, and he's a difficult fellow as it is to deal with. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and do take care.
Oh, that.